All territories in the city of Arcadia will be out of bounds for offenders. Peterson says liquor store owners will have the right to appeal these restrictions. Stopping crime before it occurs is the most important function. Tonight here at this location, Foothill Municipal Water District is having a community forum to provide information about the water supply in this area.
Let's go to CCN's Tara Gipson.
Hey Tammy, I'm out here. It is pouring cats and dogs out here in this rain.
What will it take to build peace in our community? Tammy, I'm here at Sherman Avenue in Monrovia. This house that you see behind me used to be a gang house and the center of violence in this neighborhood. But in the past few weeks, its status has changed. It now belongs to the city. And since then, the violence has ceased.
This was a focal point for activity. People would hang out in front. People would drive by and shoot at them from rival gangs.
The criminal activity that surrounded this property was a huge blighting influence on not only the neighborhood but the city in general.
Dick Singer and Darlene Sanchez, both from the city of Monrovia, say this house located on Sherman Avenue was a hotbed of violence for several years until the city decided to buy it this March.
There was major criminal activity involved, and that was the situation here.
The criminal activity is evident from the bullet hole in this outside wall, and that's not the only damage. Debris on the floor and these holes in the wall show the result of gang shootings. But Carla Smith, a family member of the people who lived here, argues that her relatives weren't involved in gang activity. Her cousin was recently killed in a drive-by shooting in front of the house.
The city makes it seem like it's just that house, but it's citywide. It's citywide, and it's not just gang motivated, it's also racially motivated.
As authorities work to get a handle on black and brown crime, city officials say taking this house off the market helps cut down crime in the city overall.
Without this house, the neighborhood probably is 80% not gang at this point. We have talked to the neighbors, and their reaction is very, very positive. They're very happy that this problem is taken care of.
Sanchez says this property will remain vacant until the city decides what to do with it. In Monrovia, Tara Gipson, CCN. Carlson says she found a new surgical procedure called ablation and decided to have her doctors try that. She says the look on their faces was priceless as they watched her tumors shrink. He says he's hoping the economy turns around soon. Investigators arrested 19-year-old Charles Whetstone without incident, but this shooting and other incidents have a special police force working long hours to crack down on gang violence. The Pasadena Police Department's Lieutenant Tracy Ibarra says authorities have arrested a second suspect in the murder of 32-year-old David Crosby. Crosby was gunned down here outside of Atlantis restaurant May 29th. Police say they found Pasadena's 19-year-old Charles Whetstone in Glendale. Peterson says the brothers range from adult to minors in age. He says the adult brother was placed in jail and the other brothers were placed in juvenile hall. Currently, he says, they have been released and are waiting for their court hearing. Police wouldn't tell us the ages of the minors, but local news outlets reported them as 12 and 14 years old. I'm here at Fire Station 37 on Foothill Boulevard. This station was offering free sand and sandbags to property owners preparing for last week's storm. Now, more storms are on the way, so it's important for us to learn how to prepare for the risk of mudslides and other potential hazards.
Part of our job is to make sure that people are prepared in the event of an emergency.
The Pasadena Fire Department's Captain Sean English says their job is to teach Pasadena residents how to educate themselves about emergency preparedness. He says besides the public education outreach and Pasadena Emergency Response Training or PERT classes, they also give away sandbags to homeowners who live in mudslide areas.
As everybody knows, water travels downhill. Same thing with mud and debris flows. So anybody that chooses to live in what we call the interface zone in the hills or in the mountains where it is quite beautiful, they run the greatest risk of having a problem with water.
English says since the station fire was so severe, it destroyed all the plant life down to mineral soil. He says in some areas, nothing's left to hold back the dirt and debris if it rains, putting homes in danger. He has a few suggestions for people trying to save their homes from mud.
My tips to the homeowners would be this: get out right now while the weather is nice and survey the possibilities of where the problems are. Prepare early. I mean, pay attention to the weather. And if sandbags and things like that are available from your local department, make use of that well in advance of the problem.
Frances Nicholson of Pasadena says she's nervous for her friends who live in the fire-stricken areas.
I think it's just a matter of time before we see some pretty catastrophic stuff, the way they had in Laguna after the Laguna fires.
Still, English says there are rules to live by that can keep homes and homeowners in the mountains safe.
The key is early preparation, just with anything, and preparation is the key to surviving it better.
English says the threat of mudslides will continue in the burn areas as new storms continue in the up and coming months. In Pasadena, Tara Gipson, CCN.